So welcome everybody to the what's the name of the podcast?
Hello everyone, welcome to Tailgate Talk. I am Dwight, editor / co-host of the video. I just want to let everybody know that we did have a segment on the 49ers and Cowboys, which unfortunately I had to cut out because I didn't have the audio for everybody included. I do want to apologize. It was a good take on the Cowboys game. Everybody said the Cowboys are the same old Cowboys, nothing new with them. And then for the Niners look really good this year. Basically the gist of it. Again, I hope this won't ever happen. Hopefully you guys do enjoy the podcast. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. But hopefully you enjoy. Peace.
I'm not a football coach, so I can't say whether they're misusing the personnel or not. But I think that if the quarterback, if you're in a situation, and I think the Eagles are a great example of this, not because they're 5-0, but when Hurts is struggling, they run the football. They run the football. They run the football. And you know what? The league leader in running the football right now is currently the 49ers. So, Brock Purdy, I think he had 17 attempts for 24 completions in that game against the Cowboys. Yeah, he was 14th. No, that's 49ers. He was 17 for 24. Yeah, I was right. For 52 yards. And without those 4 touchdowns, that's nothing to write home about. But you know what? They came out, and as they always do, they run the football, and they do a lot of misdirection. And you know what? I think that when in doubt, a winning recipe in this league is being able to run the football. I think that the Ravens likely would have won that game this weekend if they continued to run the football. And if Lamar, and I know the fumbles was tough. I'm not going to get into that because it wasn't part of the program here today. But we can certainly talk about it a little bit later. But running the football, I think, is key, and they need to get back to the fundamentals.
We weren't running the ball very well against the Steelers. I think the big key in that game was just the drop passes and the turnovers. That's all it was.
I thought you were going to say won't get into Lamar fumbling just to spare Dwight's feelings, but
no, I'm not. You know what? I've come to the conclusion that we're going to fumble twice a game. So when it happens, I just let it be.
That's my fantasy quarterback. I need him not to do that. And Lamar I trust. So, and Hurts trash, but somehow he's been helping Vince out, right?
All I gotta say is you guys passed up on Josh Allen. That's all I gotta say.
You took Josh Allen when I was gonna take.
I took him in the 6th round. How did he make it to the 6th round? I don't know. It happened.
Because he threw 15 interceptions last year. 15 interceptions last year.
But I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna get into my fantasy team.
different. There's a difference. That's something else.
There's going to be another take. Is Matt purposely tanking fantasy for a better pick next year?
Wait, I think I did have the 2nd overall pick, so my team is a little stacked. And me and I can't say his name on the podcast, but needless to say, we can move on to Commanders and Bears. Elmo, go.
I had one last one about the Giants. Is looking it up. Not that this is an excuse, but especially the offense, they're just so young and inexperienced. Like, of the starters, other than the right guard, what's his name? Mark.
And Matt Breida.
I'm going to mispronounce his last name, so I'll just call him Mark, his right guard. The oldest players are Saquon and Daniel Jones, oldest starters. Everyone else is 24 or younger. Other than Waller, I guess. My bad. But yeah, what's his name? Hyatt, 23. Andrew Thomas, 23. Yeah, everyone except Mark, left guard, not right guard, excuse me, is 24 or younger. On the O-line, wide receivers are the same way. Yeah, tight end, that's Waller. He's, I guess, the oldest.
So
Saquon or Daniel. They're just so young and experienced, but...
Well. Let's not mistaken age for inexperience, Vince. A lot of these guys and a lot of these superstars, and I believe guys like Daniel Jones, they're drafted at the age of 21. So by the time you're 24 years old, you're a veteran in this league. listen, the average shelf life of a player is approximately what 3.5, 4 years. So
Yeah,
you
it's like
can't you can't
2.2. Yeah.
if they were starting rookies, like I think the for an example, the kid that was getting oh my god, he was toast. He was toast. DJ Moore was as they say, picking his moms up. But that kid, you can say he's young. He's a rookie. Those guys that's playing for the New York Football Giants are not rookies. I'm sorry. They may have a rookie here and there, but the rest of those guys, are
They've been in the league a
are
few years.
at least 2 to 3 year players.
Andrew Thomas, second year, the center, rookie, right tackle, second year, right guard, second year.
We're talking about old
Hyatt.
linemen here now. What are we talking
I'm
about?
getting there.
No, no.
Hyatt, second year. I mean,
Look,
sorry, Hyatt's a
start with the
rookie, not
quarterback.
rookie year.
How long has the quarterback been in the league?
4 years, right?
How
4 or 3.
many? No, don't guess. You got it right in front of you. Look it up.
Yeah, I have his age. It does tell me
I'm,
years of experience.
I mean, let's be honest though. Like, whose fault is it they have a bunch of young guys?
That's true.
It's the organization's fault. So you can't use
Hey,
it as an
listen,
excuse.
listen,
I just
veterans.
said not to use it as an excuse. I'm just pointing out that they're extremely young on offense, at least.
Hey, isn't there like a veteran minimum? The Eagles signed Rasheed Evans, Nick Marrow, uh, the kicker man. These guys are on a practice squad. They're
Mm-hmm.
veterans. You don't have to necessarily have these guys on your main roster. The veterans are making less than rookies nowadays.
Yeah.
You can have some veterans on the team.
Yeah,
Still
and
have.
a lot of teams use veterans on the practice squad to coach up these younger guys because they don't have the same physical capabilities, and that's just Father Time getting at you. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Agreed. I was just saying, offensively, other than one lineman, the oldest player is Waller. Everyone else is 24 or younger, other than
Okay,
Saquon and Daniel.
I mean, there's a lot of rookies out here balling out who are taking over teams. I don't think it's a matter of them being young. I think it goes back to misuse of personnel.
Look at Puka Nakua.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And there are plenty of
guys
rookies
like
that do
Bijan.
extremely well. But you have to remember, rookies going into that, not only are they less inexperienced, but yeah, the whole thing that a lot of people forget about, that's a whole new playbook. And NFL playbooks aren't like you have in high school or even college. They're like 60 something pages, maybe 50. That's a lot to learn within, what, 2, 3 months from when they're drafted to when they start.
I mean, they have a ton of time during the off season to learn 50, 60 pages. I mean, me being in medical school, I mean, you think I'm only learning 2, 3 pages? No, dude, I have to learn textbooks and all this and all that. And these guys have more time and a greater incentive to sit here and learn those playbooks. I mean, you're getting paid millions of dollars. If I was getting paid millions of dollars, if they told me to, jump, I'd say how high. It's one of those things where they're being compensated appropriately. It's not a matter of a time issue, and it's not a matter of people leading them and coaching them. It's coming down. They're not using their guys appropriately, and it shows because they don't have bad players on their team. I mean, they have people who have great expectations, and for whatever reason, it's not mechanically working for whatever reason.
I agree. I'm just saying that's something to keep in mind. I was trying to make that an excuse or anything. I was just pointing out, yeah, how young they are, and not like a lot of basically saying that's probably one of the younger, if not youngest teams I've seen. Simplify it, but
No, just don't say it as an excuse. Look at the Texans.
yeah.
Yeah, Texans are young, and we play a whole lot better than the Giants do. I mean, and we've got a head coach I mean, D'Amico Ryans. This is a first-year head coaching gig for him, and look what he's doing.
I do want to get to the Bears and the Commanders. Do we owe Justin Fields an apology?
Well, no,
No.
not yet. Just real quick here. I just want to point out something. And again, I'm gonna be really quick with this. So, and I'm only gonna highlight the important ones. So they have Barkley. He's a 6-year starter. Let's see. Let's just look at the big names they have here.
Saquon,
Matt,
Daniel Jones, and
Matt,
Waller are the
Matt Breida.
oldest.
Matt Breida, 7 seasons. He's 31 years old.
Again, I don't know how much playing time he gets. That's why I didn't mention him. I
starting right
mentioned
now.
Saquon.
Well,
He's
again,
starting. And he was great down in Miami.
their
He's
middle
great before that.
linebackers is Cameron Brown. He's a 4-year veteran. You got Lawrence Kager, which that guy was killing us in Madden last year. He's a 3-year veteran.
You realize I said offense, right? Because I don't know
Okay,
a lot of the
all right.
defense players, but
Just
anyway.
take it easy. I'm highlighting anybody
Go
with 3 years plus. Paris
Take
Campbell.
it easy.
Okay, Paris Campbell. You got Carter Coughlin, which I believe he's related to the previous coach. 4 years. He's a middle linebacker.
Dexter Lawrence is a stud. He's on for 3 years.
Hey, the kicker has 14 years.
That's a kicker. You got bad when you got bad when I mentioned lineman.
Hey,
You're out here.
their starting guard. Glowinski. He's
I said other than Mark, the left guard.
9 seasons. Well, the right guard is 5 seasons. So I mean,
Mark was a Colt. I know who he is.
Okay. They have the defensive backs. Both are rookies, so I can see some issues or potential concerns there. Jalen Hyatt, he's a bum. Excuse me. Cornerback Adoree Jackson, 7 seasons. Daniel Jones, 5 seasons. Let's see. I'm just trying to go down here and look at Dexter Lawrence, 5 seasons. Bobby McCain, 9 seasons. I mean, let's see. And I'm just going by the big name. Xavier McKinney, 4 seasons. Evan Neal, right tackle, 2 seasons from Alabama. You put this guy on the 49ers and he's a stud.
Yep.
Raheem Nunez Roaches. Oh God, that ain't Nunez
just
Roaches.
Said 2 seasons for the right tackle. That's what I said. Other than left guard, everyone on the line is 2 seasons or less.
Bobby Okiki. I mean, listen, I can see you making the argument that their offensive is a little young, but this defense is.
What's your scoop for the defense? Exactly.
That's all I mentioned was their offense.
Sterling Shepard. I forgot about this guy. 8th season. He's a wide receiver, by the way, Vince. Isaiah Simmons.
Have him as what? The 5th string receiver? Yeah, Calais Campbell. He's a veteran, but
Calais Campbell.
Like 5th.
Calais Campbell.
I said Calais Campbell.
Darius Campbell's a Falcon.
Paris Campbell.
Darius Slayton. He's a really good wide receiver. You put him on another team, the stud. That's 5 seasons. Andrew Thomas. How many seasons do you think he's been in the league, Vince?
2.
4. 4. Andrew Thomas is 4 seasons. So listen, these guys are not as young as you think they are. Okay.
He was drafted when he was 20.
Wait, Tywan Jones is still in the league on their team. 13 seasons. This kid was in
Tyrod Taylor?
Taywon Jones. Remember Taywon Jones?
Oh, Taywon Jones. Tyrod Taylor's on their team
Thomas
too.
Was drafted when he was 20. I said 2 because I saw 24 people coming out of college.
Wasn't
playoff 4 years is 22.
Trent Williams like 19 or something like that, or Tyron Smith drafted at like 18 or 19?
Yeah, he was drafted like out of high school or something.
I know Juju was really young when 19. He got drafted.
Yeah.
Hey Vince, your favorite guy, Cole Beasley, plays for the Giants, 12 seasons.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, I'm not really seeing your point here, and I know I'm beating a dead horse here just by talking about this, but they're not that young on offense. They have an offensive tackle, 3 years. They have Amori Onunuchu. I can't pronounce that kid's name.
Close enough.
Amani, the kid that just got a card managed, 5 seasons out of Penn State. Justin Pugh. Justin Pugh's on their team. Vince, on their line. How many seasons do you think he's been there?
He's 8, 9 seasons.
11.
Oh wow!
You're looking at backups. You realize that, right?
He was a starter in Arizona, so he's a solid.
Doesn't mean he's a starter in the Giants.
Well, I think that proves the point that Matt was trying to say. They have
My
talent.
point was just their starters are young. Because you mentioned Sterling Shepard, he's 3rd string. Paris Campbell, 5th string. You mentioned a
Darius
backup lineman.
Darius Slayton. He's certainly not. Matt Breida. Sorry. Listen, we're gonna move on, okay? I think that you're making excuses, and I'm like,
I literally said not to make an excuse.
sometimes, my friend, you gotta call a spade a spade, right?
Know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Vince,
Yes,
it's
sir.
time for you to fold them.
What's our next topic?
Vince getting folded. No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
I think that from a previous episode, I think wasn't it Vince that called Justin Fields trash?
It was. I think I did too.
Justin Fields? No. I called Sports. I said he was playing poor, but
you said it every
Fields,
week when he's not getting fantasy points. He telling me how trash he is. But I'm pretty sure that I heard you say that he was trash. So tell me, what's your take on Justin Fields?
I think he's fine. I'd put him top 15, maybe top 12 quarterback.
Top 12?
He went from trash to being top 12?
Top 12?
I said maybe.
Whoa! Whoa, Vince, hold on. Give me your top 11. Give me your 11 right now.
On Tuesday?
It is Tuesday.
Don't have to be in order. Don't have to be in order. Just list 12 quarterbacks.
Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Let's see.
Okay, that's 3.
He's not gonna get that.
That's 3.
I went with the easy one, of course.
Oh gosh.
And who else?
Hey, make sure you put some music. Put some music behind this, by the way. When he
Sam Howell is proven to be good.
I'm flabbergasted right now.
I will make you happy and say CJ. That's 5.
Kirk Cousins.
There's 6.
Matt Stafford.
Big Cock Brock.
Jared Goff.
Stafford. Yeah.
Yeah, Brock Purdy.
There's 8.
He didn't even name the Bills quarterback.
I said Josh Allen.
He said Josh Allen.
I said.
He said Josh Allen.
Hold on, Vince. Hold on. I need to make sure.
I said Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Those are the top 3.
Make sure you throw Nico Collins in there, Vince.
Nico Collins.
That quarterback. Derrick Henry.
My wide receiver.
That quarterback, yeah.
Don't forget Damian Pierce.
He threw a touchdown pass.
Hey, listen.
So I'm at what, 9 right now?
List him again. List him again.
He brought up Calais Campbell. So
Mahomes,
Nico
Josh Allen, 40.
Okay.
Lamar. Sports. Golf. Stafford.
Who? Golf? Oh, okay. You're good.
Yeah.
Stafford.
We're going golfing.
Kirk Cousins. That's 8.
Rhymes with Tua.
6, 7, 8. Yeah.
Who?
Said rhymes with Tua.
Tua.
Tua. Rhymes with
Tua.
Tua.
Yeah, you're correct. Tua. That's 9. Trevor Lawrence. There's 10.
Justin Herbert? You haven't listed yet?
Herbert.
Yeah, there's Herbert. There's Stroud.
It's your opinion.
Take a chance to push Stroud
Your opinion
so
with Joe Burrow.
12.
Your opinion with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just listening to some names.
Rodgers is out, but yeah, Burrow, that's 13, I guess. And then kind of at the end of the string, end of the rope. So he's top 15, not top 12. But
Well, your top players are very. I mean, you are definitely smoking crack on Tuesday.
name one that I listed that you would not put top 12.
It wasn't in order. It wasn't in order. He wasn't
wasn't
in
in
order.
order.
It wasn't in order.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, we could have eviscerated him for that, but no, it wasn't in order.
You literally said not in order, just list 12.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you know 12 quarterbacks. Are you putting Vince Young in there, or what?
With some help? Okay, with some help, he knew 12 quarterbacks.
Hey, where's
What
Dak
about- What about
Dak
Derrick Henry? Is Derrick Henry in there?
Wait, you're taking
about
Fields.
that after he said Nico
You're taking Fields over
Collins.
Dak?
Yeah, I will.
Oh,
I mean, I would too. I would take Fields over Dak, honestly.
I mean, in fairness, this guy's running around with RG3 right now, so
I'd take
I'm not using
frickin' Dobbs
RG3.
over Fields.
Dwight uses RG3.
RG3's a dog. Don't diss my
Yeah,
boy.
he ran for like 120 yards last night or the night before. What was it?
I don't know. It's something. We lost.
This is Matt.
Didn't matter.
That's Matt. Not real life. Let's
Yeah.
let's stay on topic.
Mm. So yeah, top 15, top 12 was pushing it, but yeah, so not top 12. You're higher.
I don't know.
Yeah, Will, what about them Bears?
I can't place Justin Fields too high because he's shown one game. I mean, sure, he puts up points, but he makes a ton of mistakes. I don't know. He's very inconsistent. Maybe with this game, it was some insight to what's going to come with the coaching by opening up the playbook a little bit more to his strengths. I mean, who knows? It's just one game. I think he played well. I think the team played well as a whole.
I agree. I think there's a lot going on with this win. I mean, Dick Butkus?
Dick Butkus passed away. He was there in spirit, allowing the defense to do something for once.
Have to do with them winning, but okay.
Matt, what do you mean? It's an emotional thing. That's a player that played
That's
for the
huge,
organization a very long time. That's like if Ray Lewis passed away. That's a big game.
Emotions were high.
Emotions are definitely high. I don't know if that makes him play better or worse, but
speaking of
DJ still smoking crack.
well,
Vince has never played with emotion ever. He just plays like a robot.
Did you even play? No, they put corn dogs in front of you and told you to run, didn't they? No, full emotion.
Tell you to play angry. No, I'm like
football is an emotional game.
Stupid because when you get angry, you make mistakes.
I'm gonna get away from that for a second. I think there was a lot going on. I think this is one of the games where we could see their coach getting fired afterwards, right? If they don't perform great. I think there was a lot going on. I don't see Justin Fields playing spectacular the rest of the year. I think he's a top 20 quarterback, to be safe about it.
He did play spectacular. DJ Moore played spectacular.
Who got him the ball? It's a two-way street.
One of them, one of DJ Moore's long touchdowns, that was almost a pick six. The corner jumped it. He missed, but he jumped
almost.
We don't play what ifs.
How do you know? How do you know it was almost a pick six?
Are you a DB in the NFL? You play in the NFL, Vince?
And I think we're beating Vince up a little bit too much today, guys. That's
Sorry, he said he was a top 12 quarterback.
This is compared to what I'm used to. This is light work compared to what you normally do.
Well, I mean, this is light work because this is going on YouTube. Oh yeah, and by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe.
There you go.
So he can't chew you up with so much, right?
Yeah, click the like button. Every like equals a smack to Vince's forehead for saying dumb stuff.
Well, DJ Moore's been playing fantastic all year. He's been under the radar.
Well, DJ Moore,
the Buccaneers. I said that before. He played great against. The Buccaneers.
It wasn't just the Buccaneers game. He had almost had 100 yards last week.
Played better. Yeah. He's played
well. I think, and DJ Moore is a talent. He was playing very, very well in Carolina. I mean, it looked like it was a ton of upside potential for Chicago, but again, what is Chicago doing? Again, it's misuse of personnel. It's terrible coaching. I think they need a refresh of their organization again. I mean, what's going on now makes Matt Nagy not look so bad.
No, don't say that. Bears fans will. I don't know if I'd say that.
No, Matt Nagy is trash, but at least they were playing a smidge better. Not to say that Matt Nagy was a very good coach or anything.
They had more talent on defense, though.
They're going through that cycle. A hype of players, a hype of this, a hype of that. Boom, let down. And I said that what
that game was. I think that game was what Bears fans were expecting at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what all the Bears fans were expecting, but they got what the Bears started off doing, and I feel like that's what they're going to go back to doing. But
probably
that was a good game.
And I hope for the Chicago, I hope for the organization's sake that is a preview of them opening up the coaching, opening up the playbook, and opening up to their players' strengths. I just I'm not confident that's what it was or that's what it is.
How do you guys feel about the Commanders, though? Losing like that on a primetime game, even though they've looked pretty good all season.
Scared of the Commanders, and then after 1 week or 2 weeks after, they get whooped by team with no win whatsoever by what 20.
But they played the Eagles in like a death match, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Bears play the Vikings this week, so that's what we'll get to
Yeah,
see.
I don't know. I think that was a letdown for Washington, really, because Washington, to Big's point a few weeks ago, is that Washington was looking like they were going to be something, and then to come in and just have a display of disappointment like that against a really bad Bears team. I mean, I don't know what's going on with them because their coaching hasn't been bad. Actually, up until that game, their coaching has been pretty good. Didn't Ron Rivera say that so and so players were tired during that game? Or am I thinking of another team where he went on the press and said,
I wouldn't know about any of that.
But yeah, they had some mistakes, but for the most part, yeah, the Bears defense played much, much better. Played like they did the first 2 drives against Buccaneers, where they played great, and then that Buccaneers game, they went to crap afterwards. But yeah, actually stuck with it last week.
well, you know what they say, even the sun can shine on a dog's ass, so we'll see what happens.
And I want to say this about the Commanders. Looking at their schedule, they beat the Cardinals by 4, they beat the Broncos by 2, they lost to the Bills by 34, and they lost to the Eagles by 3. And then they lost to 20 by the Bears.
First 2 you just mentioned, those teams are complete garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about what happened against Philadelphia, where it was a close game by 3? I mean, what do you have to say to that?
By less than 7 with 2 teams that are 1-4.
Right, but they lost. I mean, they lost by 3 points to the Eagles. So are you saying that the Eagles are fraudulent, or I mean, what are you trying to say here, Vince?
I never said anything about the Eagles.
I just the Commanders played the Eagles tough because they were the reigning NFC East champions.
You just
I think
said,
it's just a divisional,
yeah,
just a divisional.
Right,
game.
have one
A rivalry.
game, but
Yeah,
they said
I don't think it's
have one
anything
bad
special.
game. To say
Psychological.
Eagles just did have an off game. Anyone can have one good game. Anyone can have one bad game.
I don't think the Eagles had a bad game. I just think that the Commanders showed up and was ready to go. You know,
Right.
They were hyped up. Chase Young's return during that game, and it was at the Lincoln Financial Field, and those guys, they came in last year and they snatched one from the Eagles, and you know what? They wanted to do it again. And it's a statement game, especially after the donut they put up against the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
That is the one guy that seemed like he was there to play on Thursday. Chase Young.
Oh yeah, Chase. Yeah.
Sam Howell threw for almost 400 yards, but Chase Young stat wise doesn't look fantastic. He's got a half a sack and a couple tackles, but he was all over the field. I felt early on in that game, at least when it mattered.
Right. Yeah, and it gets kind of weird whenever you're trying to grade how a defensive lineman played, because you can't just go based off of how many sacks he has or how many tackles. You actually got to watch the game to see what kind of impact he did. Were they running away from him? Did they run at him? Did they have 2 dudes on him? So on and so forth. Not to elaborate too much.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Understood. Elmo, any thoughts before we move on?
I don't think there's too much to go on about the game. So
fair
I
enough.
think we're all right.
All right.
All right. I think that brings us to Bills versus Jaguars. Anybody see that coming?
Me?
I certainly did.
I said it. I said it last week.
Well, yeah.
Dwight, you're the only one who said that, it's not the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's the London Jaguars. For whatever reason, they play amazing overseas.
Mm-hmm. They sure do. I mean, I remember the Ravens went to play Jacksonville a couple of seasons ago. We got blown up by like 40. They're a different team when they play in London. I don't know what it is. They just need to move. I'm sorry, Jacksonville Jaguar fans. They need to move.
Do you think it's the travel?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's some of it. I'm sure the Jacksonville Jaguars are more used to the travel than other teams. I'm sure it helps a little bit. But I don't know. They're just used to playing in that environment for whatever reason.
Hey,
Well, you would think that Buffalo would be used to playing in it. Well, when you say environment, you mean like weather conditions and whatnot, or
No, not weather conditions, because I think Buffalo would have the advantage there.
well, yeah, that's what I was trying to understand when you said the environment. What type
Just
of
the crowd,
environment?
just like the crowd. I feel like it's more of a home game. It's by far more of a home game for them every time.
Okay,
The kind of fan base environment.
gotcha. Yeah, I didn't I didn't see the game up until the very end. It looked like Buffalo was shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties from from the stats that I saw towards the end of the game.
Well,
Like I said,
that was the refs. The refs were really bad, like really bad for both sides. Like it was really bad.
Yeah,
Like they were putting on a show. They were trying to show London fans to not be fans of football. Like, it was bad.
they said quit making us pay for him to come out here.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. The refs were really bad.
Yeah, I missed the game unfortunately in the last, in the final quarter. It looked like Josh Allen had like a spring of life or something because he was moving the ball in like big chunks each pass. I don't know what the case was for the rest of the game. Other than I saw ETN, their blocking was great, and I should have played ETN in fantasy. He had a hell of a day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude actually on that long run, didn't he like duck under like somebody's legs or something like that and went for
Yeah, he did. But I didn't see it coming. I really thought it was. I thought it was going to be another Buffalo Bills takeover, and it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. It got close near the end. It got a lot closer than it should have. But yeah, no, it seemed like the Jaguars took control. One thing that sucks, one thing I didn't like about the Bills, I was talking about their run game being very good this year. This game, it just wasn't. They couldn't get the run game going.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't consider the Jaguars a fantastic defense in general, but their just run defense I don't think is that great. So to see the Bills not be able to run, it's like a bit of a warning.
So London is 5 hours ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that is potentially, jet lag is a real phenomenon.
Plays a part for sure.
And, and I know that people, I've heard a sentiment that traveling, say, east to west can be very, very difficult for players. So this scenario is very, very similar to that. Actually, you're moving forward in time. So, yeah, I can see, why that could be a very difficult transition for those teams. So,
oh yeah, that is a good point. What was the difference in travel for Jacksonville and for Buffalo?
So it's about approximately, I'm going to say 3,500 miles from New York, Buffalo Airport to the London, UK airport. And it's approximately 4,300 miles from just Florida in general. I didn't specifically look at it from Jacksonville. Jacksonville is on the lower side of Florida, if I'm mistaken. So it could be just a little bit longer.
So then, it's not being an excuse that one team had to travel further than the other.
Well, that's the thing. It's just
Right.
Jacksonville's so used to playing there, though.
Right.
Well, didn't Jacksonville stay the whole week from last week
They could have.
in LA? And
They could have.
Oh yeah,
They could have.
That's a good point. Yeah, because they played there last week too, didn't they?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
they might have just stayed over there, so they didn't have to fly in.
So yeah, to Dwight's point, it could have been more like a home game since they would have just stayed there. There would be no sense in flying back to practice and do that. They would have just brought all their stuff out there, did what they had to do as a team in practice. So they were already accustomed. They didn't have the same jet lag the Bills would have had.
Excuse me.
I didn't even think of it like that. I forgot that they played there last week or the week before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good point.
So they had a bit of an advantage going into the game, where they had less of an adjustment than Buffalo did.
Yeah, sure.
But you also want to see those good teams, or not even good, just great. You want to see those great teams overcome stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
you expect a team like Buffalo to be able to overcome, hurdles like that. But I do think that's kind of a unique hurdle to jump.
Mm-hmm,
I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure how many teams would be able to fly over that far and face a team that's been there for a week. who's already used to, they've gotten over the jet lag, they've gotten over the time change, they've gotten used to the environment, they're used to the fan base. Like it was just a lot of, to your point, it was more of a home game environment for Jacksonville than it was for Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. I'll just say I think the Bills will be fine regardless of this outcome. Like, this doesn't change my opinion on Buffalo.
Oh, I agree. I don't think it changed anything, especially whenever it starts getting cold and teams got to go up to Buffalo to play. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can sum that up there, Big?
No, I'm good to go now. I was just looking at the location for Jacksonville. So yeah, it's North Florida. Um, Slightly over about 4,000 travel miles, and as you pointed out, they likely stayed there, so it was like a home game.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffalo could have come in. They could have been just a little lagged, jet lagged and hungry, or I don't know what was going on. So you know what? They got the blood beat out of them. So Jonathan Taylor, let me ask you a question. I'm
That's a
gonna start.
hot topic for you.
We're gonna kick this off, but I'm gonna start it off with a question for
I'm
you.
not the one who put it in there.
Okay, but you mentioned it, so let me ask you this: was there any doubt in your mind that he was going to not get paid? Go.
I didn't know if he'd stay or not. Like,
Well, he didn't have a
seemed
choice.
like technically yes, he did have a choice to stay or not. Let me rephrase it. I didn't know if they were going to pay him or not. They may have kept him, most likely traded him if he was unsatisfied, because you don't want a player that doesn't want to be there and may not perform because he doesn't want to be there. Again, I don't know what his injury was. I don't want to misspeak, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if his injury was fake. But I don't think he's that type of person. But with how he handled the situation, I don't think it was the greatest on him or the Colts.
How did he handle the situation? In
Like
your
I
mind?
said, though the Colts didn't help, they made it public too. He made the falling out very public and kinda was just seemed very against the Colts regardless of what they were gonna do.
Because they weren't trying to pay him. I'd be against that too.
Mm-hmm.
So my opinion on this is that I thought that they could get a deal done the start of the season, but once he either faked the injury, had an injury, and then that Zach Moss started having good weeks, I thought there was no reason for them to have to pay him, and all of a sudden they paid him.
Mm-hmm.
It surprised me because I thought because Jonathan Taylor kind of screwed himself a bit.
Yeah, but Zach Moss was proving that they don't need Jonathan Taylor, and Zach Moss proved that they don't need Jonathan Taylor this past week.
I
And
think
that's
that
also what sorry to cut you off, but yeah, that's also went through my mind of why I thought they may not extend his contract or pay him or anything like that because the Colts have a history of doing that with the running backs, especially. Mullen Mack got
Well,
injured. Jonathan Taylor and Hines stepped up. We traded Mullen Mack.
do you
I
know
don't
what
think.
all this is proving? This is showing other teams that they can hold out on their number one guy because budget players are going to come up and prove they're devaluing themselves by doing these holdouts because they got these other guys who aren't making as much money who are trying to get playing time and proving that these big money guys aren't needed.
I think the situation was done poorly by both because honestly, this also proves that you can hold out and get paid, even when there's a player playing good below you.
so. I think that
So I don't know.
I think that there's a factor that I think we all should just consider. I don't know that this happened. I don't have any inside information on this, so don't take this as gospel. I would venture to guess that this contract that Jonathan Taylor agreed to was likely the contract that they offered to him in the offseason. And the reason why I said that, or I believe this, is that if you're Jonathan Taylor and you're sitting here and you're at home and you're injured or whatever it is you got going on, you're playing Xbox, Call of Duty, whatever, like Kyler, and you see this young kid Moss and he's out there and he's balling, if I don't know about you, but I'm saying to myself, I need to get a contract done as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what? I'm going to continue to stay home. And I think his agent went back and he presented terms and said, "Hey, listen, you know what? Is that deal that you originally offered us still on the table? If so, we want to go ahead and accept it." And I think that maybe, or maybe it was a small tweak to the contract. But I believe that that's closer to the original deal that was likely offered in the offseason, which is why it got done so fast and quietly. And now he's
Yep.
suddenly no longer injured.
Yeah, I agree with you because he's sitting at home watching Zach Moss take his job, and he probably had that aha moment that, you know what, all this is doing is hurting my value if I were to go anywhere else. Because there's a reason why teams weren't grabbing and fighting to get him. They were sitting back, being like, you know what, let's watch how this plays out.
Yeah.
Is it going to prove that Jonathan Taylor is as valuable as he's saying, or not? And that's what they were doing. They were watching Zach Moss, and Zach Moss was out there balling out.
I agree with you guys. There is no mention of a contract in the offseason, but I'm sure they had some type of talk. So I do agree with Big there. But there was trade talks for Jonathan Taylor. Don't get it twisted. The Packers and the
Eagles
and the Dolphins were the big one. The Dolphins actually offered some picks. So there was a market for Jonathan Taylor. I think that the market was just too high.
Taylor asked for permission or whatever to be traded, and they said okay.
Listen, if you say the word trade,
no problem with it.
The Dolphins is at the table. Those guys trade for everybody. They don't care.
So yeah, they do. So I got to ask y'all, how come you don't see these guys holding out on the Patriots the same way that they are in other teams trying to fight for these contracts? What's different in New England than opposed to these other teams?
Because they draft bums.
I was gonna say a lot of the players is later round guys, or they sign in free agency. They do sign some big guys every now and then, but they typically sign role players, guys who will meet a role but not necessarily ball out.
Who's supposed to hold out on their team? You want Mac Jones to hold out?
Well, let's go back into the earlier years when Tom Brady's there, and I mean, yes, I know who doesn't want to go play while Tom Brady's there. But at the same time, you had some significant names in New England during the Tom Brady era. You weren't seeing guys holding out trying to fight for more money. And why is that in the New England organization?
Because they were contending for Super Bowls every year versus the Colts.
So yeah,
we're contending for a top 5 pick.
But also, like I said, they draft later. Welker was late round. Edelman late round. Gronk was 4th round. A whole bunch. Devin McCourty, I think he was a higher pick, so no mind on him. They tend to find gems in the later rounds.
I think what's going on is people know that they can't pull one over Bill Belichick. I think it's coming from a power struggle with a lot of organizations.
Mac Jones is doing that right now.
Mac Jones is about to get his butt shipped the hell out is what's going to happen.
For a bag of potato chips.
Bill Belichick's going to come over here and take Vince and put him at quarterback and turn him into something. I think what it is I think it's a lack of establishment of power with teams, and these players think that they can dictate what these owners and what these coaches are going to do. And I think teams need to take after Bill Belichick. They need to make their role there more clear.
This is also a first-year head coach. I think it's different circumstances.
He's a first-year head coach?
The Colts coach, first-year head coach. Jonathan Taylor doesn't know what the team's going to look like.
I think it might be more like the players want to hold out on a team that may not make the playoffs or the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
They want more money of not making the playoffs or going to the Super Bowl. Like the Patriots had a good chance of going to the Super Bowl, so obviously the players are not going to ask a lot of money. They want to stay on that team to get that ring. But say like the Colts and these other the Giants and Saquon was doing that. Like these teams aren't playoff caliber teams.
The Raiders.
They want that. They want that money. They want that money. They know they're probably not going to make the Super Bowl this year or the next couple years, so they want that money up front first. instead of having that chance like you see on these better teams. Players taking less money and just getting their team better because they know they have a chance.
I think it's a good point. I think that's pretty well said.
They said, I seen the ball. I seen I had a chance. Right, Dwight?
What was that? Vince Tyson? What the heck?
No, it's
You know who doesn't have a
whitewash.
chance? Anthony Richardson, if he keeps getting injured every week.
Yeah. All right. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with Jonathan Taylor?
Oh no, I think that's everything for Jonathan Taylor. You know, I think he. I don't know if he makes a big difference to this Colts team. I really don't. And they paid him a ton.
I think he's just an expensive paperweight.
I think we
I
need
don't know
to
about
hurry
that
up.
much.
Offensive player of the year. He's expensive paperweight. I mean, he had a bad year last year, but
I mean, as of right now, he's an expensive paperweight. I mean, they got Zach
compared to
Moss out
Zach
there
Moss,
doing his
yeah.
thing.
And he's getting paid less than $2 million, I think.
I think Jonathan Taylor would have been better off trying to take lesser money from another team.
I don't know. White's
Because
point, I don't know. I was just going to say it could be not knowing what the team's going to look like because it changes a lot since Andrew Luck. Like, we tried Carson Wentz. He made stupid mistakes, and that was a bad year. Before that, we tried Philip Rivers, they made the playoffs, but nothing great. After Carson Wentz had Matt Ryan, another terrible year from a MVP caliber quarterback. Yeah, just a lot of changes since then.
Well, I think he screwed up by making himself so expensive for the Eagles. Because if he would have agreed to less money with the Eagles, that would have been a perfect organization for him to land in. If he's as great as of a running back as he says he is, or y'all think he is, look at the holes. You could drive an 18-wheeler through the holes in Philadelphia. He would be absolutely great between him and Swift. He's just, I think he's got a little bit of delusion to him trying to get that much money.
I think I can go out there, lay down on the field, and have no one touching me. The holes are that far apart.
Okay, well, we can pull up tape, and Big can attest to the run game that Philly has, where they've got wide open holes, and he would have been great there. But he's out there trying to look for too much money, and I don't think he's that valuable. Is he a good running back? Sure, I think he'd excel in other organizations more so than others.
I mean, the Colts don't have a bad line, but yeah, the Eagles are obviously probably the best line in football, no doubt.
I think they got better coaches too.
Then, Big, did you have anything else? I know you said Rookie of the Year, but
I just I think we should save that for another a topic for another time.
mid-season.
Yeah, just quick. Everybody, just go down and give your predictions. I predict the defensive rookie of the year. I'm going to say Jalen Carter, with maybe Will Anderson being a runner-up. Offensively, I'm going to have to go with Stroud, with maybe B. John being a runner-up.
I would agree with that, but I think it would be between Bijan and Puka as runner-up. I do think C.J. Stroud is going to take it, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer between Bijan and Puka as far as runner-up. And I think if Will Anderson can get a little bit more production, I think he would take defensive player or defensive rookie. As great as he's playing, when it comes to a defensive player, I don't think he's doing quite enough to overthrow Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is disrupting a lot in the middle. I think if Will can start getting more sacks, I think he could take it. But as of now, I would agree with you, Jalen Carter with Will Anderson as the runner-up.
gonna be biased. I'm gonna say Stroud, offensive rookie of the year, but my runner-up is gonna be Zay Flowers. He's been our best receiver outside of Mark Andrews in the Ravens offense, and if he can actually catch the football, he'll have some good stats. So Zay Flowers runner-up, and defensive. I think we're all saying the same thing. Defensive rookie of the year. I think Jalen Carter has played phenomenal. Will Anderson has, but let's not forget Devin Witherspoon is the second in odds right now. He's playing great. How long will that last? I don't know, because he didn't have to worry about the number one receiver because he's got Tariq Woolen on the other side. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say defensively Carter, but possibly Witherspoon. There's a lot of good corners though. Yeah, Witherspoon's played the best so far. Yeah, there's plenty of good, talented rookie corners. I'm not gonna name all of them, but obviously
Because you can't.
one I can
Name the
name
corners right
top
now.
4 or 5. But anyway, then offensively, Stroud's likely and Bijan's likely, but I do think
Likely?
Puka is going
Likely.
Who do you think? Who
Most
do you think's
likely.
gonna win?
Vince, you're likely to trip and fall down the stairs. CJ Stroud, like, he's got it, man.
No. Who do you?
I
Who
don't
do you
know.
think's gonna win? What's your opinion?
between Stroud and Bijan. I just told you, but Puka, he's close, but I don't think he's close enough, especially with Cup coming back.
I don't see Bijan
No,
being top
like a
3.
historic
I
start.
don't.
I think
What about you,
I think Puka definitely edges over Bijan. I think Bijan is a really good player, but I don't think he's put up the stats. Like he's all right.
He only has
stat-wise.
2 100-yard games out of the 5. He's got a couple 60s. He's got a below a 60. Like he's absolutely a phenomenal athlete, but his stat wise aren't playing great. And that's at the end of the year. That's what they look at when they come to voting.
I do
think
think
that's a franchise thing. I don't think that's him, but I feel like him not producing is more of a offensive coordinator with his team. But
and they mix backs and everything.
Yeah, I think Puka's played a far better year so far than Bijan has, with
Bijan
obviously the historic start as having the most receptions and yards in the first 4 games or whatever Puka did.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think Shroud gets it because being a good at quarterback usually edges over all the other positions, and I think Puka's definitely close second.
Yeah, I think
Jalen Carter.
Bijan has the worst offense. Like, everyone's going to game plan to stop him. Don't give a crap about the quarterback. He's not going to be able to do much.
Desmond Ritter's played great. Not great. He's played good this year.
Right.
Don't sleep on Desmond Ridder.
But I don't know about good.
He's played good.
Ritter didn't even play every game so far. It was what's the backup's name? Heineke's not the right word. I have to look this up.
You bad at names.
Help me. Yes, I am.
No,
it wasn't one of the 12, so you don't know.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't one of the. Yep, absolutely.
I mean, apparently you guys don't know either. So not saying anything.
It's Taylor Heineken or Heineke, whatever his name is.
I just said I don't think Heineke's the right word. But okay, I was right then.
His first name is Taylor. that's that I do know.
So I was correct. I thought I was wrong, but I was correct.
Mm-hmm. No, you were right. I didn't say. Did anybody say you were wrong?
It can sound like, it was one of the 12, so you don't know.
You didn't know.
Anyway, moving on.
You had to look it up. You had no confidence. Week 6 games. You guys got anything interesting? I mean, obviously, this past week we thought the Cowboys-Niners game was going to be an interesting game. It clearly wasn't. So I'm curious. You guys have any games that you're looking forward to?
I don't know what schedule.
I think Texans and Saints is going to be interesting for the fact that I think we all thought that Houston was going to beat Atlanta. Dwight, I do know that you said that they're kind of a an underrated team, but I don't think anybody thought that Houston would lose in that fashion. So I think this is going to be a pretty big. I think it's going to be a pretty big bounce back week for us going against the Saints.
And I'll say this. I said this about the Falcons. The Saints are kind of an underrated team too. I'm not going to say this every time the Texans play a team. Believe me. But the Saints are playing. The Saints with Derek Carr. I mean, they have Derek Carr now, but Derek Carr might be the best quarterback they've had since Drew Brees.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Alvin Kamara's
but
come back and played good. They have guys, and they played pretty good. I don't know what the record is. What, they probably 3-2. They might be 4-1.
I mean, they didn't blow out the Patriots more than the Cowboys did. So
that's true.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be a pretty big bounce back for us. Walking away from last week, kind of like to your Ravens, there were too many drop passes that resulted in us not getting points on certain drives. There were at least 3 passes that Robert Woods dropped that if he would have caught would have resulted in at least 3 points, which kept us in the hole.
We had 3 drop touchdowns. We had 7 total in the game, but we had 3 drop touchdowns. Big would have had 40 points with his quarterback in fantasy if our receivers could catch.
But so not quite the same caliber as what went on with Baltimore, but if we didn't drop as many passes as we did, we would have came out winning by 1 score at least.
Yeah. I've looked at the schedule because there's only one game on my mind after watching that Steelers-Ravens game. It's that Ravens and Titans game in London. I'm gonna be up 5 in the morning, waiting for it. This needs to be a comeback game for the Ravens. When this team is playing like it should, and we're not making the mistakes, which is rare. When we're not doing that, we look phenomenal. We look so good. Unfortunately, it's fumbles or it's drops or players are injured. It's always something. It seems like and I don't know what it is. We're 3-2. Our record's not bad. We're still definitely in it.
Look at these guys.
But I need to see a comeback game.
Up, people?
I need to see a comeback game this week, and it's against a team that it is maybe not the greatest. It's not one of the worst teams in the league. I need to see a win against Tennessee, and it'll make me feel better about my Ravens.
Not going to be able to watch it, unfortunately. The most interesting game I see is Chargers-Dallas, probably.
Why? So the Chargers get your hopes up and then lose in the playoffs?
Why would I care if they make playoffs or not? I'm just saying those are 2 of the pretty top teams, pretty higher teams, excuse me.
I've always been down on the Chargers.
Yeah. Other than that, only other thing I see that interests me is, again, it's not my game of the week or anything, Chargers, Cowboys is, but Colts and Jaguars for the second time. Last time it was a very close game. Colts were driving down the field, trying to make a comeback, and Anthony Richardson threw his only pick of the year in the 4th quarter. But
I think.
All right, Elmo. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'll let Elmo go. I'll recap at the end of this.
I don't even know what teams are playing what, except for obviously the Niners and then what you guys said.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I can say the Niners game, but I don't think
they play the
it's
Browns.
going to be anything special against the Browns. But
that's going to be good because the Sack Reaper's coming.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, but Watson might not play.
Well, I think it's going to be I think Myles Garrett will outplay Micah against the 49ers. I think Myles Garrett's going to create more havoc, and I think Brock Purdy's going to be under a little bit more duress facing Myles Garrett.
Well, the thing is, can the Browns stop the run? Because if the Browns can stop the run, then the Brock Purdy may not drop back a lot. So.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting to see, especially with all the hype that's going on with Myles Garrett, with him coming out in that dark robe and the mask with the scythe, and everyone calling him the Sack Reaper. I think it's a lot of hype. I think it's I think it's a lot of cool publicity for that game. I think it's just I think it's making it larger than life and it's making it exciting.
I think
it should be. It shouldn't be a fucking roller or anything. The Browns aren't horrible.
Right. But, I think it'll be fun. I think it's gonna be fun watching Myles Garrett. And it's gonna be fun watching. It's gonna be fun watching Brock Purdy have to compete against it too. I just think it's like it's like watching the like when they come out with a new Michael Myers movie. You know, the movie trailer gets you all hyped up. You're ready to go to the theaters and watch it. I think that's kind of what they're doing. I think they're building the hype, and it's going to be exciting.
I don't know. I felt we run towards Trent Williams will be fine.
Mm-hmm. Darius Smith's a good run stopper, though.
I just don't like the Browns O line. It used to be great. Do they still have Joe Patiniano? Or I want to say yes, but I'm not positive.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think
They
like
do.
the only guy that.
And they have DeJuan Jones, who they drafted.
Yeah, I haven't seen how he played yet. How he's played yet? Excuse me. Big, your take?
Well, let's see if. Well, if Big looks like he's busy.
Big, what you got?
Game of the week. He's talking. Lips are moving.
Okay, so I want to look at and see who the Cowboys actually had this week.
The Chargers.
The Chargers. That's who I took.
I'm gonna say that's the game to watch this week. Simply because you want to see how a team like that actually rebounds. There's a lot of talk about Dak and his how capable he is, and has he lived up to the contract, or has he lived up to the Cowboy hype, et cetera, et cetera. Love to see how he bounces back.
Okay, my thing with that, and this won't happen, but I'd like to stop talking about the Cowboys until the playoffs, because that's all that matters for that team. They're gonna make the playoffs. That's all they gotta find a way to get a win in the playoffs. Until then, it's the same story with them. It is nothing new. And again, it won't happen.
Year.
We'll continue to talk about the Cowboys almost every week.
Year
probably.
They had exposed a little quicker than they usually do.
Yeah, I just want to say that we get to see Joe Burrow had a bounce back game. He fed Jamar Chase the ball. He said he's always effing open. So we'll see if he's always effing open against the Seahawks, who have Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen. We'll see what that Bengals offense can do against a better team.
And what's his name? Quandre Diggs.
Quandre Diggs. I also want to see. I want to see Tampa. I want to see Tampa and Detroit. Those are the two I'm looking for that we didn't really mention. And how did the Giants end up on primetime again? They're on Sunday Night Football. Sorry, I just realized this. Not to scream in your guys' ear. They're playing Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills.
It's what, third time this year?
Fourth. I think it's their fourth time.
So I swear, if they play a non-primetime game, they might actually be good. But we haven't seen it yet.
You might be right.